Yo, let me ask you a very serious question. Who is the greatest superhero of all time? And to all the core fans out there, yes, I'm talking using my lips. It happens from time to time, right? Let's all grow up and move on. But seriously, let's take Iron Man versus Spider-Man, for example. In this scenario, who do you think takes the cake? Now, if you were to check the comments down below and see what people are saying comparing these two, you would see what I mean. Depending on who you ask, the answer you may get may vary dramatically. And now look, I think we all know how to get an answer to this, right? And I did it. I posted a poll on Twitter to learn that Spider-Man is better than Iron Man by a good margin. But here's the problem, all right? It's so boring. Polls are very boomer. And so what I decided to do instead was to make this. It's basically a live stream that gives the viewers of my channel the control over their favorite superheroes and fight for them. But it kind of ended up being a huge failure. But before we get to that, we kind of have to go back to the beginning so that this all makes sense. Back in January of 2021, I tried my first ever live chat game called Chicks Makes History, in which I made a game from scratch with the goal to complete 3 puzzles before beating the game. Oh, what's a live chat game, you ask? Great question. It's simply just a game that's designed and hosted as a live stream, with the input to that game being thousands of chat messages from the live chat. It's always a fun, crazy, hectic time. But it's time to do more with this concept and try and push it to its limits. Because honestly, I think we're just scratching the surface with figuring out what it means to be a live chat game. And so I immediately got to work on figuring out the logistics on how this tournament would work. And after 3 weeks of lots of concepting and talking to friends developing this, it was finally ready for prime time. Though in truth, most of the time was devoted to finding the 44 superhero models, rigging them up, and getting them ready to use for the tournament. Don't get me started on how frustrating and tedious this process was. My goodness. But that's besides the point. Let's just get to the exciting stuff already. Now, I grabbed basically all the superheroes that I can find over the web, including Mr. and Mrs. Incredible. Hell, I would have even added Pepsi Man if I could have found him. But this created an issue. You see, I had 44 superheroes, and so I could either do a 32 bracket tournament or a 64 bracket tournament with these heroes, which means I had to either somehow find 20 more heroes, which trust me, I tried my hardest, or I could shrink the heroes down to 32. Obviously that was the only real answer, but I just didn't know how I was going to go about choosing 12 heroes that weren't going to make it into the tournament. Unsure what to do, I chatted with a friend for ideas.
Yeah, I mean, you could let the chat decide that too and do like a preliminary battle.
A little drama come early. I like it. And on April 29th, the Vote for Your Favorite Superhero stream went live, in which thousands in the chat were voting on their top picks with unlimited votes. And yo, let me tell you, I thought this was gonna be boring, but this stream was chock full of drama. There were people in numbers campaigning for their favorite superheroes, while complaining about other heroes being above theirs. Some of my favorites include
Batman and Iron Man are not super. This is how the president should be elected. Nightcrawler is sick. What you guys on?
And of course, the spiciest of them all,
Green Lantern.
It was a good time. All was going great. Some users were submitting super chats to boost their favorite heroes. Take James John, for example, who trolled 250 votes for Hawkman. But the most controversial was the boost of Aquaman by Ryan Gilkey for 500 votes, quickly putting Aquaman in first place. But then a developer's nightmare happened. The game decided to crash with almost 40 minutes still left to go. I had to quickly take down the stream and put it back up. At this point, I'm both frustrated and afraid, because I didn't have the slightest clue on what was causing this issue. There could have been a long laundry list of things causing this. But thanks to Unity's great debugging tools, in about 5 minutes flat, I was able to find the culprit. And so, about 15 minutes from taking down the stream, I was ready to go again. But I wasn't off the hook that easy. Remember, I had 3 vote boosts from super chats, and I promised to honor them when the stream went live again. So I quickly had to patch in a little system that allowed for me to input what hero and how many votes I want to add to them. And once this was in, I got the stream back up. I think in total it was like 20 minutes, something like that. I bet your favorite coder can't do that. Keeping with tradition, there was also a lot of juicy drama going on for the second try as well. I encourage you to watch the playback and just read the chat. It's a fun time. However, I just want to highlight the story of Nightwing. So for those of you that don't know, Nightwing is Robin. You know, Batman and Robin, but he's just a more older and mature version. This will be an important note for later. So at the start of the tournament, Nightwing was doing good for himself. He was maybe halfway between Batman and Robin in terms of qualifying, but despite DeQuan Patterson's multiple pleas to vote for Nightwing, he just kept falling and falling. And then he fell into the disqualifying pit and basically stayed there for the rest of the game. But Nightwing had a constant stream of vocal support throughout. However, near the end is where the hit the fan. His younger self Robin made it back into the qualifications, while Nightwing stayed in the disqualification pit. And then the preliminaries ended. Robin climbed higher, while Nightwing unfortunately stayed disqualified. Wait, what's this? 6-Shot MC with the 200 Nightwing Super Chat votes to save the day? Unfortunately, this wasn't a buzzer-beating Super Chat. It was well after the buzzer sounded, and these votes didn't count. But that was that. And all that was left now was the actual tournament. And when May 1st rolled around, it was actual tournament showtime. Now, before we get into the happenings of the tournament, it's important that you understand how the matches work. 32 heroes will face off in a 1v1 bracket style tournament, all climbing the ladder trying to win the tournament. And the way the battling works is by allowing users to submit what I call zingers, which are just good explanations on why you should vote for one hero over another. If anyone that's watching the stream likes a particular zinger, they can just copy paste that into the chat, thus casting a vote for it. But everyone only gets to vote for one zinger per battle. Changing your vote to another zinger will remove your vote from your previous. Pretty simple system to understand, right? And so, do you know what this means? This is going to be really cool to not only finally know who is the best superhero of all time, but also to have a thoughtful, passionate reason to back up why so many people believe so. Yes, that's exactly right. It is time for the best superhero live chat tournament. I'm sorry for the cheese. Let's move on. The very first match was Ant-Man versus Violet from The Incredibles. And we started off really strong with Incredi guys submitting good things come in small packages in support of Ant-Man. Really solid reason to vote for him if you ask me. And this was followed by a Wooba Booba. I'm sure that's just a fluke. Let's see here. It's Small versus Cat for the top votes, with Small going on to win the match. Okay, you know what? Sure, I'll accept that. Ant-Man is the better superhero because he is small. You know what? Fair enough. Who we got up next? The Hulk versus Robin? Alright, let's see what happens here. Smash is the top vote for Hulk, while Teen Titans for Robin, with Smash winning the match. Another one-word winner. Alright. But whatever. Let's move on. Superman versus Nick Fury. This is easy. Superman sucks, so Nick Fury's gonna win because he commands the Avengers, something like that, right? Top votes are Super for Superman and Black for Nick Fury, with Nick Fury winning because Black. Okay. Look, I'm willing to admit that I'm the one with egg on my face for expecting the internet to play by the rules. I have reread the official rules from the Internet Handbook, and I can say that I'm awakened from my hysteria. Every match following this were just one-word matchups. They aren't really worth your time for me to go through and highlight, but I will point out and say that any match involving a woman really frustrated me. Most of the chat voted on objectifying zingers as the top 3, and I was just really disappointed, I'm not gonna lie to you. But I guess to focus on highlighting something cool, in Spider-Man's very last match, after going on a spider zinger winning streak, it looked like Spider-Man was about to yet again win with Spider. But thankfully, some members in the chat were also irritated with the same zingers winning over and over. And user Enzo managed to pull off a campaign to win with Pizza Time, which is a reference to a funny moment in one of the Spider-Man movies.
Pizza time.
And because of this, Spider-Man was able to win the tournament due to the finals being based on voting for your favorite zinger. And all the zingers are basically the same, except for Pizza Time. And I gotta say, I really enjoyed this moment. But overall, I think it's a bit sad to say that the preliminaries was a lot more fun than the actual tournament itself. What a shame. But hey, I mean, the tournament stream didn't crash, so that's great, right? But I mean, despite me being naive and foolish and all that other stuff, I actually learned a lot from this project. And in the end, that's all that's really important, because the best practices for making live chat games is still an unexplored territory. Slowly but surely, we'll figure this out. But you know one thing we all learned today?
That our boy Spidey is the best superhero because Spider and Pizza Time.
Be on the lookout for a stream redo with my list